We're hanging out at Page Custom. I'm here with Joe. Joe, all the cool cars and trucks you work with. The one question I want to know that you're asked over and over again. I know I come at you with some questions just about all this and how it works. But what's that question to you?
The number one question, Tim, is how much does it cost? And when I tell people they're about 150, 200 grand, that's not just here. You can go to any other custom shop. It's almost like an industry standard, I want to say, just because of the price of the parts. We're sitting right here with a frame behind me. It's $20,000. You got a cab and a body being put together behind you. By the time that gets done, that's another $20,000. You see some engines over our shoulders. By the time we get those built with the wire harness, that's easily another. So we're at $60,000, haven't really even started. We still got to buy wheels, tires, glass, interior, labor. So it just adds up so fast. And a lot of people watch these shows on TV. They never really tell you what it costs to build that car. They look beautiful and they're great and the people drive them, and nobody really tells you what they got in them.
Well, that's my problem. I watch those shows. I'm thinking, Joe, this takes 22 minutes to build out. And they didn't say any money, so it must be free.
Yeah, free. So what we did, Tim, our labor rate's $100 an hour, which is cheaper than most dealerships you go to. If you take your car to your local dealership, they're probably more than I am at labor rates. It just takes me longer to do something than them. When you take a car to the dealership, we're going to put an alternator on, hour. They're going to charge you an hour. We're going to get a panel in here, and it may take us several hours to get that panel to fit just like we want it. And that's where it comes up. It's labor, man hours, parts. Right. Shipping's insane right now.
Well, you went to Chicago, this frame that we're talking about, this chassis. Mm-hmm. It took 10 months to get?
It took me 8 months to get it. And the reason I went is because by the time I was going to have to pay shipping charges and crating fees, it would have cost for these two chassis to get here $4,500. To me, that's $4,500 that somebody might have just set on fire. They have nothing to show for it. So I went up there to help my customers out to cut the cost down on them, because to me, that's just ridiculous. But if I didn't go and didn't have the ability to go, you'd have added $2,some $100 to each one of these chassis just to get them here, waited 8 months for them. And the technology has changed from the 50s, the old hot rod days, to what we are now. You know, I went up to that place. They got 3D scanners, several CNC machines, the equipment, technology, and they're not the backyard mechanic anymore. There's several mechanical engineers, electrical engineers, and it's just evolved to something that's insane.
Well, you talked about the price. Obviously, when somebody's building out that 67 to 72 Chevy C10, that replica, that restoration, because I say restoration, but you're building a brand new truck.
Yes, sir.
With these brand new parts to look old.
Yes, sir.
And that takes time.
Yes, sir. What a lot of people do is they want it to ride like the car they drove up in. The car that their everyday driver, that's how they want this truck to ride and handle. That's what they've got accustomed to. In order to do that, it takes some certain parts to make it do that, which are not cheap. Certain technology. They want AC. They want it to handle. They want it to ride. They want it to act and work just like the car they drove here. And that's what we try to do for them. It's what we do for them, but it takes money and time.
So the way I try to square, and with this information in my mind, what you're saying, because a build out of this truck could be anywhere between $125,000 to $175,000.
Depending on what options you want,
And people are not doing this for an investment. This is a hobby, right?
Yes, sir. One of my best customers said this makes no financial sense. This is cars that people either dreamed they had in high school, or they learned how to drive, grandpa had one, and now they're finally at the stage in their life where they can afford one. So it's a hobby. It's actually more passion driven than anything else.
But if you equate it to some other passions people have,
the example I give people is fishing. The guy goes out and buys a brand new bass boat. That's probably $40,000 or $50,000. Then he's going to want a new truck to tow his new bass boat. So let's add another 40 or 50, if not more than that, to it. And he's got to have the latest and greatest lure. Every time one comes out, he's got to go buy that latest and greatest one. So over time, he's accumulated the same amount of money as this guy did. It's just a hobby. Both of them are passion driven. And that's really what this is. This is not an investment. It's an investment in yourself and your passion is what it is. Not an investment is I'm going to put 150 in this and I'm going to run down to Barrett Jackson. I'm going to get 200,000. You might be lucky to get what you got in it. So
It's not an investment, and
it's really not.
I do understand that. When I see them, when we look around to all these Blazers, I love them. What you're telling me, it's not unobtainable.
It's not, Tim. And
It's not for just rich guys.
it's not just for rich guys. I need people. I can't afford one, and I build them. So I look at it as how can Joe afford to one of these trucks, and that's why we've come up with the stages. I can do it a little bit at a time, like eat an elephant. You eat it one bite at a time, right? So that's why we come up with these 11 stages. So the average Joe can afford it. It just may take him a little longer. That's
Right,
all.
but do the work himself at
Yeah.
his place, at his home, at his shop,
And with us right here to help him.
like a
Not just-
consultant or a coach.
Yeah. Say, hey, I got a problem. Well, call me. Come by. We're here. I want you to build it yourself because then you got self pride in it. You know, you just write the check. You know what I mean? You're like, man, I know how this goes together. Somebody asks you a question, you can answer it and feel good about yourself. Because if not, this industry is going to go away.
Right. Which I don't think with the people that I know, the passion that's out there, because I am, as you described, that person that watched that Barrett Jackson and you just wonder, you know, and you see the cars here, they're beautiful. The trucks, the Blazers, you can't help but to fantasize about their history and then, of course, with their future. But the thing that you get asked, how do you start? What do people need to do?
Well, they need to come by they need to do their homework. They really need and figure out how they're going to use the vehicle, the truck, car. How do they want it just to be a bar hopper and just go out on Saturday night, going to go to a cruise and come back, or they want to get it and say, I want to go to the mountains when the leaves turn. I want to go to the beach. So you got to figure out how you're going to use the car, because that's going to dictate a lot of things about the car, the drivability. I want AC. I don't want it to be so radical that I got to work on it every weekend. So that's the biggest question you got to ask yourself is how are you going to use the car? Once you determine, Joe, this is what I want to do with the car, it's how I want to use it. I want my wife to drive it without worrying about being broke down. And I'm going to probably pass it on to my grandkids.
Well, that's the beautiful part about what you're building with these Chevy C10s.
Yes, sir.
Those replicas, everything's brand new, every part, and then you build it for comfort.
Yes, sir.
It's got every safety feature.
Well,
that
not every safety feature. It's going to have safety feature 67. If I can't put airbags in it,
Okay.
it won't have anti-lock brakes. It's going to have what it had in 1967. Seatbelt. You need a seatbelt. So
and a cigarette lighter.
and a cigarette lighter, believe it or not. But so what we try to do, Tim, is that's why the chassis are behind us. Everybody wants them to ride and handle better, and that's what this provides. It gives me modern technology with rack and pinion steering, upgraded geometry on it, so it handles and rides so nice.
Okay.
The engines we use are the same ones that are in the trucks that you're driving. They're modern fuel-injected engines from GM. So
And plus, to your point, if there's problems, they're under warranty.
it's under warranty, yes, sir. And we also provide a 1-year workmanship warranty on what we do. So the other stuff carries manufacturer's warranty, but as far as workmanship, we carry a 1-year warranty also with the truck. So I don't want you just to buy something, you're one and done, gone, have a nice day. If you had a problem, I want you to bring it back. And that, I want
Like
to
you told me
take care of it.
before, you're in it for the life of that vehicle. It's
am.
not a quick hit, easy in and out. You take pride in your work.
All of
your
our guys,
team does.
all of our guys take extremely amount of pride, and that's what. Sometimes they'll put something together and come back tomorrow and go, "Man, I can do it better," and they redo it until they go, "That's what I want." And a lot of them build them to where it's their car. You know, I'm building it. This is
Their baby.
It's my baby. This is my pride and joy. This is like because
It
when
shows.
when it leaves here, Tim, and you take it somewhere, nothing speaks about Page Customs but the car. I'm not there with the car. I'm not there talking about this or that. It's so when people look at it and go, man, who painted the car? Page. Who did this? Page.
Oh, well, then they know each one of your techs, one of your, so they know it's almost like they put their autograph on it.
They do.
Now, granted, you don't let me get close to these vehicles because,
No.
problems happen.
Look, hey, and that's life. Life's going to happen to these cars.
Wow.
I'm building drivers here. I want you to go out and drive it. If a rock goes through the windshield, no problem. Your kid's bicycle scratches it. Hey, we can fix it. It's not like the term trailer queens. I'm not building trailer queens, but I am going to build you something that you can take to your car show, be proud of, and get in it and go to the beach if you want to go to the beach. Or if your wife wants to go out there and drive it, she can get in. You don't have to worry about her breaking down. Everybody can enjoy the truck. You know,
Well, without a doubt, Page Customs does take pride in every vehicle, every truck and car that you produce,
yes, sir.
from soup to nuts
Soup to nuts.
through the life of that car. So those
Yes, sir.
folks can depend on that.
I guess if anybody said what would be your greatest accomplishment is if I built you a car and you passed it on to your grandchildren and it was still the car. That would be awesome. Or you and your son or grandchild could be in the garage and y'all both could be working on it and creating memories that we kind of just helped. They gave you the knowledge to do it because that's something that's irreplaceable and you can't put a price tag on that. So I just think that would be so awesome. Somebody comes back and says, hey man, me and my grandkid, we're taking this out, I'm going to give it to him. I just think that would be the cherry on top.
Well, as much as I know you and I feel about family, that's the way to do it. You start building memories right here at Page Custom. Hit up Joe. Joe, how do they reach you?
They can reach me at my website, www.pagecustoms.com. They can call me at 804-784-5541, or they can even email me at joe.bailey@pageauto.com.
That's the way you do it. That's the way you begin right here with Page Custom.